Ezekiel Elliott, Zeke, is done in Dallas. According to sources this morning, the Cowboys are set to part ways. They should. He's toast. It'll be a 1-year, $11.8 million dead cap hit. But he signed that big contract, and he was never the same. Pre-contract, he was a 2-time rushing champ, a bunch of attempts, arguably the best back in the league. After the contract, if you take the accumulation of a couple years after the contract, 67 yards per game and no burst. Tony Pollard has been the most explosive running back for the Cowboys for 2 years. Why doesn't he get more carries? Because the Cowboys have been trying to justify the contract. For the record, this is why you don't give Austin Eckler a big deal. It's why the Cowboys have franchised Tony Pollard. It's why the Giants franchise Saquon Barkley. So there's a lot to learn here. Do not give running backs second big contracts. But more than that, the lesson to be learned here, and I'm not sure Dallas can fix it, don't try to justify your pick. Don't try to justify your contract. The Kansas City Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, first-round running back, picked him. And they liked him. This year, they're like, yeah, we got a 7th-round guy we think is better, more dynamic. We'll play him. Kansas City didn't care. They were not trying to justify a first-round running back pick. The minute they found a 7th-round guy with more of a burst, more dependable, more pop, they played him. Because Kansas City's about winning. The Cowboys aren't. They're about Jerry Jones winning if it validates what a muse he is, what an insider, football acumen. It's what Jimmy Johnson complained about for years. First couple years when Jerry owned the Cowboys, he was in the business ops department. Jimmy told me multiple times he never saw him the first year. He didn't see him for the first year and a half. Jerry was building the business. And then Jerry's like, okay, I built the business. I want to have some fun too. I want to sit in the war room and I want to talk to reporters after games. And Jerry loves to be thought of as a football guy. What he is a brilliant businessman, a maverick, an outsider who's now an insider. He's earned every penny of that. The reputation, the money. Jerry deserves credit. What he's not is a football genius. It drove Parcells off, Jimmy Johnson off. And for all we know, they're going to regret the Kellen Moore move. I think they will. In the end, the Chiefs moved off a first-round running back to a 7th-rounder. Didn't have any ego. It's like the 7th-round kid. He's cheap. He works hard. He's dynamic. He picks up first downs. We'll go with him. The minute they gave Zeke the contract, they had to justify it. Jerry had to justify the contract. Tony Pollard's had more pop and been more dynamic for 2 years. Why is Zeke getting more carries? You watch the games. I watch the games. Pollard's the home run hitter. Why are they trying to justify Zeke? He's a short yardage back. That's all he is. He's like a pitcher's got too many innings. He can go 5 innings. Can't go 7. Forget a complete game. Not going to win that much. So as you try to justify your contracts and justify your picks and hold on to people, there's the lesson learned. Don't justify a coaching hire. Smart teams move off him quick. Don't justify draft picks. Guy doesn't work. I'll give the Jets credit. They're done with Zach Wilson now. I'll give them credit. They're like, hey, didn't work. The GM's got to suck it up. I think Joe Douglas, a very good general manager. He whiffed on a quarterback. It's hard. Belichick can't get the wide receiver position right. And he may have just lucked into Brady. So, I mean, Kansas City doesn't have the ego of Dallas. Kansas City's winning, and Dallas keeps disappointing. But this is the right move. It should have been the right move a couple years ago. They keep feeding him the football for the last 2 years, and anybody that goes to a Cowboy game or watches them knows Pollard's the guy for the last 2 years. Give him the ball. To their credit, they're going to franchise tag him, which is what you got to do with Austin Eckler, who I love. Pollard, love. Saquon Barkley, love. You franchise tag them. They make their money early. They make some money late, but lesson learned. Pre-contract, Zeke was a monster. Post-contract, 67 yards a game. Yet he is the highest, I believe, cap hit for a running back in the National Football League. Okay, so here's another one. Here we just said this. Aaron Rodgers just a minute ago said, quote, his intention is to play for the Jets. He's not holding anything up. So that means the trade comp is what they're haggling over. So there you go. Aaron wants to play for the Jets.
No.
He's not holding it up.
He decided his intention was to play for the Jets.
Well, there's got to be a trade.
Colin, my intention was not to go to a bar after I get off work tomorrow. Okay? The intentions change. He's just playing games with everybody right now. My intention was to play for the Jets. On Friday? Well, it's now Wednesday. What's going on?
God, I love this. This is now, according to Aaron, about the compensation. So we know everything now. It's retiring or the Jets. He's agreed, I want to play for the Jets. That's his intention. He's not holding it up. It's just GMs going back and forth. We also know it's not first-round picks. We know that's not the issue. They've agreed to that or they're not part of it. So this is all just comes down to a couple of guys in suits on the phone figuring out terms. So it looks like Boomer Esiason, Trey Wingo, we're on it, mostly on it, that the stuff had been agreed upon. Now it's just guys in suits figuring out terms. There you go. There's your answer.
Okay, wonderful.
Not that complicated.
Cool.
I still don't think they're a playoff team. I think they'll battle to the last week with the Dolphins. And the AFC is much easier to predict because you have transformative quarterback talent. So the best quarterback, especially when they're a star quarterback, usually win a division. Right? Usually, unless there's a coaching disaster or the NFC's up for grabs. So the idea of, it sounds like from what Aaron's saying is he would have come back, but he got a real negative vibe. Aaron's a vibe guy. He got a very negative vibe from the Packers, who are publicly saying the right stuff, but privately they're done with him. And that's one thing I got right. I've been saying this for years. Rip the Band-Aid off. Move on. I mean, seriously, if I got 2 second-round picks, I'm done. Let's go. And the Jets signed Allen Lazard. We didn't want to sign him anyway. We're going to draft Jordan Addison with one of our picks.
Let me quickly ask you, do the Jets now, hearing this, that his intention is to play for us, they've got all the power?
No. Okay. Here's another one. Rodgers said the Packers are, quote, digging their heels in with trade talks. So this comes down. So we know this. Aaron's ready to go. It's compensation. And the Packers are digging their heels in. Because the Packers don't want to be embarrassed and give up too little. If I was the Packers,
receive
what do you think?
little.
I think what's fair is 2 seconds.
No. Absolutely not. I'll give you a third. I'll give you a third round pick.
Break.
Take it or leave it. You decide. You deal with this guy.
Well,
you deal with this diva.
Yeah, fine. We're not giving them to you.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.